Hi everyone, welcome to StudyIQ platforms. My name is Sibasankar Sir with you. Today I am here to discuss that we will discuss the world climate and the world climatic classification, world climatic zone, that everything we will discuss today, right? So which is necessary because that will give you clarity to what kind of climate where lies, and that is important also for the those who are preparing for the what civil services examinations. So that is why to know the climatic classification of the world, to know the different climates of the world, that is ought to be or necessary. For say, let's say for example, each year UPSC is having a tendency to ask a questions from the climatic zones, the world climatic zone. When I say the world climatic zone, that means what exactly the climatic zone is meaning. The climatic zone is meaning a large climatic area, that is the geographical area. When I say climate, that means homogeneity will be there. There would be what? Homogeneity. The homogeneity of what? That is the climate. That homogeneity of climate is required. What we need? We need the homogeneity of climate, right? The homogeneity of climate is required. Then what is climate? Climate is simple, the average weathering condition of a particular geographical location for at least 25 to 30 years. For at least what? 25 to 30 years. When I say climate, its meaning what? So simple meaning, the climate is what? Average weathering condition for at least 25 to 30 years. So that would be the climate, right? So that would be the climate. So this is how what we do mean by the climate, right? Just a minute. Right, so that is what? The climate. But when we say the climatic zone of the world, I means I am talking about the large climatic area. I am not talking about here case a small patch of land. I am talking about the large climatic zones, because let's say for example, let's say somebody has gone through the world geography, might have some prelude, might have some free idea where exactly which zone is situated, which region is situated. For say, when I say A type of climate is a capital A type of climate, that means I am by default I am talking about equatorial type of climate according to whom Köppen climatic classifications. So that is why. So when we say, let's say OPSC is having a tendency to ask the questions from that Köppen classifications. Once they ask, it's not once, it's twice they have asked questions from this particular climatic classification, that is the Köppen climatic classification, where the first they ask about, do you mean by AW type of climate, or Odisha is coming under which kind of climate, right? So that is the Savannah type of climate, AW type of climate is there. So likewise, here you can see the different colorful images are there. These colorful images, every color denotes to a certain type of climatic zones. For say this one, you can have, this is what? Monsoonal type of climate, equatorial type of climate, monsoonal type of climate. Let's say this color, this is what? Dry type of climate, desert type of climate. This is what? Mediterranean type of climate. What does this means? This is what? Like the European type of climate, Chinese type of climate, or the China type of climate. So this is like that. So we will discuss, let's say, so this polar region is having, ultimately that will have the polar climate, right? Or the taiga type of climate. So that is why we will discuss each type of climates in a detailed way. But before that, I will definitely try to go through the climate is been classified by whom? One of the most revered person, or the most dynamic person, or the most accepted climatic classification is been done by whom? That is the Köppen, done by whom? Köppen. The Köppen scheme or the Köppen climatic classification. When I say Köppen climatic classification is rightly called as what? It's a genetical classification. It's a what? Genetic classification. It's a what? Empirical classification. It's a what? Empirical classification. That means this Köppen classification is based on data, facts, empirical classification. This is what? Based on facts. This is based on facts. So this is what empirical classification. I have done some research, collected data from here and there, and on the basis of certain proofs, he has classified. That is why we will say it empirical classification. Also, this is genetical classification of climate as well. So when I say that Köppen classification, this is empirical. When somebody says empirical, that does mean is that having collection of some data, fact, all this. So that is why empirical. Observation is done, right? So empirical means somebody has observed certain things, and that is why putting forwards to the things to the someone else. Experienced rather than theory of purely assumption based. So this is not assumption based. This is practicality. This is based on certain data, fact which has been collected throughout the year from the different places across the world, right? So this is how Köppen classification we do talk about. Now, why this classification? Then Köppen classification, in the Köppen climatic classification, one thing is very important. What is that? That is the natural vegetation. Why? Then you may ask me, okay, why that natural vegetation is so much important that I am saying to you? Because in the Köppen climatic classification, natural vegetation is important. I mean, to indicate the climate. I means what? To indicate the climate, and that is why this is important. This one is important. Just a minute. Right. The Köppen climatic classification is important because this one is what? The indication, or I would say better to say the indicator of the climate is natural vegetations. So according to Köppen, what is the best indicator of the climate? The best indicator of the climate is what? Natural vegetation. Simple, that would be natural vegetation, right? That would be natural vegetation. Just a minute. Just a minute. Right. So that means so that is what the natural vegetation is the indicator. The natural vegetation is what? The indicator of the climate. So that is why we have to take that one also, right? So the natural vegetation is the indicator of the climate. Hence, he has put forward the following diagrams. So you can see the Köppen has used, just a minute, yes, this table. The Köppen has classified the world climate into certain, that means the world climate has been classified by using certain alphabets. For say, he has first used the capital alphabets like A, B, C, D, E, H, T also there, right? These are the certain alphabets he has used. Why these certain alphabets is been used? Because he has used the certain alphabets to indicate the certain type of climates, to indicate what? Certain types of climates. So that is important. The things is important is that he has used this alphabet. For example, A type of climate, when he used first capital alphabet, like here you can see the certain capital alphabets are there for say A, V, C, D, E, H, H for Highland. So these are the certain alphabet. A means what? Tropical. B means dry climate, means evaporation exceeds the precipitation. So that is the dry climates. C means warm temperate, or I would say mid latitude climates. Cold snow forest, that you may say the what taiga type of, then cold climate and the highlands. So these are the definition, these are the what, not definition, these are the certain alphabets he has used to indicate the large climatic zones. And here is like A, that means the mean annual temperature would be above the 18 degree, right? These are the certain things. Here, as I said, B, dry type of climate, I means when I say dry type of climate, that is the evaporation exceeds the precipitation. That is why this is dry type of climate. When we say the warm type of climate, right, when I say warm type of climate, I means the average temperature of the coolest month of the mid latitude climates years is higher than the -3 and below 18. So this is how the temperature, the average temperature of the coldest month is -3. So that is also CD type, like this is all about, right? Next is that he has further, so these are the what, large climatic areas. These are the large climatic area. These are the what, this is megatherms. These are what, megatherms. So these are the megatherms. A means megatherms, right? That means large area, high temperature, right? There would be surplus temperature throughout the year. These two areas we will have more temperature, the surplus temperature throughout the year. Now this large climate is again subdivided into small climatic zone by using what? By using certain small alphabets. By using certain small alphabets. I mean by using certain small alphabets. What are the small alphabets? Let's say for say A type of climate, right? For say A type of climate. When I say A type of climate, it's a tropical climate. It's a what? Tropical climate. Definitely it's a tropical climate. But now this tropical climate, that is also having the some sort of classification, like that means वो वहाँ पे मानसून भी हो सकता है, वहाँ पे मानसून नहीं भी हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है, तो डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ कुछ ट्रॉपिकल एरिया ऐसा है जहाँ पे थ्रू आउट द ईयर द रीजन एक्सपीरियंस रेनफॉल, दैट कुड बी. So that is why he has taken certain small alphabets like F, M, W to classify the A type of climate, right? The A type of climate further classify like this. What F means? What? Rainfall throughout the year. F means rainfall throughout the year. That means no dry season. A means monsoonal type of climate. W means winter dry. So this is how he has classified. That means if it is a tropical region, so obviously it would be monsoon will be there. So monsoonal climates like India, the Kerala coast, AM type of climate is there, monsoon is there. AW obviously when it comes to India, that is rest part of India, I would say Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, all these regions are AW type of climate because winter is dry. But in Kerala, winter is not dry. Kerala does not have winter. Tamil Nadu almost does not have winter, right? So this southern part is no winter. That means throughout the year somehow they receive the rainfalls or monsoonal climate, right? That is why. Next we will comes to the B type of climate. When I say B type of climate, it means what? It's a dry type of climate. It's a what? Dry type of climate. When I say dry type of climate, I means, just a minute. When I say dry type of climate, that means what? The dry type of climate, I mean, right? The dry type of climate, that means what would be dry type of climate? Where dry means what? That means your evaporation is more than the precipitation. That is why dry type of climate. Evaporation is more than the precipitation, right? So which region will have more evaporation? Desert, that I would say desert region, subtropic region, right? So that is why. So that would be what? It could be dry type of climate where high temperature is there. What high temperature is there? This dry type of climate, that could be. Now the B, that means he has denoted this climate with the B type of. Now that B would be also subdivided by using certain capital alphabet and small alphabet. Like for example, capital S means steppe type of climate. Capital W means desert type of climate. Here H, small h stands for hot and the small k stand for the cold. So this is how the difference. That means This is steppe, hot steppe. This is desert, and that to be hot desert, cold steppe, and that would be the what, cold desert. So this is how it's been divided. For say Ladakh, we will have BWK. For say Thar desert, that would be BWH. For example, Thar desert, BWH. For example, Ladakh, that would be BWK. So it would be Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, BS what, not cold, sorry, it would be BSH. So BSH would be in Gujarat, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, some parts of what, Maharashtra, Karnataka, all this Lathu region, Marathwada region. But BSK we don't have. We don't have any grassland which is cold enough. That is steppe. Let's say, for example, it would be better to say the steppe region of Ukraine, Russia, that is the cold. So for that we will denote BSK, but not in India. So that would be how. Then comes middle latitude, C type of climate. So C type of climates means what? Middle latitude climate. Basically, these are the middle latitude climates, where Mediterranean types of climates comes, where China type of climates comes, where continental types of climates come, that is the steppe. Right, the Mediterranean type of climates will be lies on the western side and the western margin of the continent, and the eastern margin of the continent, that would be your Chinese type of climate, right? The China type of climates. In between there would be what? Continental type of climate, which we call it steppe, or the grasslands will be there. So that is why that could be there. So that is also there. Now the C type of climate, that is the mid latitudinal climates, we will divide it. For example, CS, that means it's a hot summer. It's about summer is hot. Summer does not receive any rainfall. That is like you will have Mediterranean type of climate. So better to say what? CS type of climate. That means Mediterranean type of climate. I mean the Mediterranean type of climates where summer remains dry but winter is wet. Because winter is wet, why? Because of the front formation, because of the temperate cyclone formation, because of that reason, because of apparent movement of the sun towards the what, southern hemisphere, as the apparent movement of is happening. So this is all the region for the having the Mediterranean type of climate, right? And it will have all the region, the dry summer but wet winter, winter will be wet. So that would be there. Then what happens? CFA. CF means what? F means what? Rainfall throughout the year. And A is a humid. A is what? Humid, no dry season. That means this is coastal, European coastal, Western European coastal. So it's a what? It's a coastal area. It's a coastal area of Europe. If it's the coastal Europe, coastal region, so it will have rainfall throughout the year. Let's say for example, I would say Spain, better to say France coast, UK coast. So this region receive rainfall throughout the year. They don't have any significant dry season, right? But yes, the winter would be mild, summer would be cool, winter would be mild. So that is why the Western European climate is the best climate, rather than the Eastern European climate, which is little harsh. In winter it would be harsh, right? So that would be there. Then CFB, no dry seasons, again warm and cool summer. So this is we will say like the British coast, all this coast will be there. Then we will comes the D type of climate, that is the cold type of climate. That could be subarctic, that could be continental, right? DF, that means you don't have any dry season, Norway coast, let's say all these region, that would be. Then DW, Russia, all this region, winter would be very severe. Winter would be what? Very severe, Siberia region, Canada region, all this region. Then E type of climate, cold climate, that would be tundra, or throughout the year ice could be there. Tundra type of climate could be there, frost could be there. So this is how he has divided, right? This is how he has divided. Then we will come, see here you can have the map. Here you can also have the climatic maps, the classification. Here we are having the Köppen classification, that if there would be in the B type of climate, there would be desert, there would be tropical evergreen, equatorial type of tropical evergreen will be there, tropical monsoon type will be there. So this is divided, we have divided. Then grassland, savanna, tundra, all these things we have already discussed, right? Now here you can see that where is the ice cap. The both the region will have ice cap, that is the northern hemisphere, all the top of the northern hemisphere, that means I am talking about Arctic Sea, and this is the polar region of the southern hemisphere. These two regions will have the ice cap. Yes, that would be tropicals. Then let's say tundra region. Here you can see the tundra region. This is the tundra region. This one is the tundra region. Here is all about the tundra region is there, that we have discussed in the previous slide. We have discussed ice cap, then tundra, then subarctic climate would be there. So these are the subarctic condition also there. So subarctic also, then highland will be there, then marine type of climate. Here you can say the marine coast. So these are the marine type of climate. So right, these are the marine type of climate comes. So this is how the map is been given, that you can identify the Mediterranean type of climate. Here you can see the Mediterranean type of climate. Arid, this is these patches is arid type of climate, arid type of climate, arid type of climate, arid type of California side. This side is arid type. Then here is the tropical wet. This is the tropical wet type of climate. Right, semi-arid also. This region is semi-arid. This region, Sahel belt, all these region also semi-arid region. So this is how we can identify by going through this slide, by going through what, these two slides, then it would be easy. Now we will comes to the other facts. Now we will comes to other facts. I means, let's say, okay, wherever the grasslands are there, okay, let it be. Where is steppe, where is prairies, where is savanna, you can identify also the grassland. And all this grassland will comes under the B category, under the what, climatics, that the Copin said, dry climate. That would be B type of climate. That would be what? So it would be savanna, prairies, steppe, all would be under the B. So that will be divided into the B category, right? Grassland will be there. For example, savanna. So here you can see the savanna type of. So here would be, right, this region also. Steppe, here you can see the steppe. Here you can see the steppe. This all that, this pila color, right? This color, and this color is prairies. So here you can see this color, prairies grassland. This one, steppe is this one, right? And all the way savanna, right? And here also, so this region. So this is how you have to identify the world map, because this is also important. We need to catch it, right? Next, now we will comes to China type of climate. Now here we will try to discuss a little bit in detail. See, so this one is what, China type of climate. So what exactly meaning of China type of climate? That means on the eastern margin of the continent, on the what, eastern margin of climate, this region also receive, this is also monsoonal, also what, it's also monsoonal type of climate. Now China type of climate usually found on the eastern margin of the continent, right? And here it is called as natal type of climate. Here it is called as natal type of climate. Here it is called as Gulf type of climate. But all are different names in different area, but they are the type of China type of climate. When I say China type of climate, I means the meaning is that it would be eastern margin. It would be what? Eastern margin of the continent, right? It will have monsoon effect. There would be monsoonal effect. In summer will be little bit harsh, but maximum rainfall will be, or precipitation maximum will be there in the summer. In the winter would be continental type of air mass will come like this. There would be trade wind influence. The region will have trade wind influence. Under the trade wind influence, the region receive maximum rainfalls during the summer season. But when it comes to the winter season, what happens? Continental effect will comes. What continental effect will comes? And this time also somehow this also receives the snowfall. Sometimes the region receives snowfalls, particularly in China. So there would be snowfall, sometimes also snowfalls, and the winter would be dry. So sometimes, right, winter may receive certain snowfalls or not. The largely winter remain dry. So this is China type of climate, right? This China type of climate is here it called as the natal type of climate, eastern margin. So this would be eastern margin China type of climate. Now what would be the forest? It would be deciduous. The forest would be what? Deciduous type of forest. It would be your deciduous, right? It would be cools. Winter would be cool. not harsh, it would be cool winter. So that would be, winter would be cools, not harsh. Okay, so that will be there. Then next is that, so this is how the China type of climates we do talk about in the China type of climate. So this is Natal in the southern hemisphere. This is Natal type of climate, also same, having the same features as I discussed the China type of climate, that will have the same feature, right? Next is what? Laurentian type of climate. So what is Laurentian type of climate? This is also important because they also sometimes ask a Laurentian type of climate. Now what do you mean by the Laurentian type of climate? This Laurentian type of climate, I means when I say Laurentian type of climate, this is eastern margin. Again eastern margin. यहाँ पे अगर होता तो चाइना टाइप हो जाता, थोड़ा सा ऊपर गया तो ये हो गया Laurentian type of climate. The Laurentian type of climate opposite to the British type of climate. The British type of climate found on the western margin of the continent. Western margin of the continent. And सीधा ईस्टर्न मार्जिन पे दिखेगा आपको क्या? That is the Laurentian type of climate. जैसे कि यहाँ पे Mediterranean type of climate, China type of climate. Here it would be China type of climate. Here it would be Mediterranean type of climate. Here is Mediterranean type of and China type is here. So western margin Mediterranean type of climate, eastern margin China type of climate, British type of climate, Laurentian type of climate. So this is how the climate is been divided. Now in the Laurentian type of climate, we will have rainfall throughout the year. There is no dry season. What? No dry season. I mean, when I say no dry season, this Laurentian type of climate, no dry season. That means rainfall throughout the year, right? Summer, there would be summer rainfall. There would be summer precipitation, better to write precipitation. Why? Because of the trade wind. Because of trade wind. But when it comes to winter, it would be harsh. Winter would be harsh because from this lake effect, all this region, that is why there would be snowfall. That would be snowfall. This region also will receive snowfall. So there would be snowfall. That means precipitation throughout the year. This region will have precipitation throughout the year, right? This eastern margin. And summer would be cool. Summer would be what? Cool summer. Like in this region, summer, it would be cool. Largely I would say this region. Summer is cool, but this region, summer is little bit of harsh as compared to this region, Japan. Why? Because here is the Gulf warm current is flows there in that region, and that is why that region makes the little bit of harsh due to that region. Otherwise there is no such what I would say factors. Otherwise it's a pleasant type of climate. Otherwise what? It's a pleasant type of climate, except as I said, okay, this ocean current moves. That is the Gulf Stream, which we call it Gulf Stream. If there were no Gulf Streams, that means this region would have been the one of the happiest region. But overall this region is fine, right? No such climatic harshness is there. It's a cool and I would say cool summer. Next, here you can see. Here you can see the location. Here is Japan, how the warm and cold Kamchatka cold ocean current comes. Oyashio current comes. Here is Kuroshio current comes. So meeting point of the Japan is here. So that is why this Japan region and the Okhotsk region that receives the that is also explains the types of Laurentian type of climate. That is what? Laurentian type of climate, right? So that is Laurentian type of climate is there. Okay, now so that is why here you can see in this particular region, this region, right? And here is also this region, Grand Bank, all this region, Nova Scotia, Grand Bank. So these are the region what? That is the Laurentian type of climate happens, and this is a pleasant type of climate, no worry. Except as I said, because of the Gulf Stream, that will bring some sort of humidity into that region. Otherwise the region is pretty good and cool summer is there. Winter would be harsh, right? Next we will come to the British type of climate. Next we will come to the British type of climate. So right, British type of climate, one of the best climate in the world. Why? Because British type of climate is, I mean, When I say British type of climate, it is what? It is simple cool summer. The summer would be pretty cool. The summer would be cool, I means the temperature would be 15, 20, or nowadays London is experiencing like 22, 25 or 22 degrees Celsius. Let's say that would be the effect. So in the summer, if you are moving in the London, it will have 22-degree temperature. It's a good right. So that would have the pleasant climate. The temperature would be, this is, you can see 5 to 15s, but in the summer, as I mentioned, the temperature would be 22, 23, 20. So that would be the temperature of summer. But when it comes to the winter would be cool. Winter would not be harsh. Winter would not be harsh. It would be cool. What? Cool winter. It's a what? Cool winter. That is not harm. That is not harsh. Right? That would be there. Now winters are normally mild, as I said, cool, but because of what? Atlantic drift is there. So because of warm current prevails in that region. So sometimes unusual cold spells cause the invasion of the cold polar continental polar vortex. Matlab sometimes polar vortex comes, but there is very rare chances of the coming of polar vortex to UK. As of now, I think very मतलब almost शायद यूके ने कभी रिसीव नहीं किया पोलर वोर्टेक्स, बट समटाइम्स सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर, न्यूजीलैंड एंड अलास्का, sorry, New Zealand and that is what Tasmania region experience also polar vortex. That is why we can't deny the fact yes UK would not receive any kind of polar vortex, or UK would not come under the influence of polar vortex in the near future. भाई कभी भी आ सकता है, ऐसे कुछ नहीं, because of the global warming and the meandering of the jet stream that may brings the polar vortex to the UK as well, but chances बहुत कम है, right? So this is मतलब कहा ना कि pleasant, most pleasant country and the most pleasant weather, one of the most pleasant weather in the British. That is how, right? Here you can have the British type of climate. Here also in the New Zealand, also the queens of Pacific Ocean is what? The Southern Ocean, Southern Pacific Ocean queens. That means the New Zealand, also called as the Southern Hemisphere's UK. New Zealand को हम क्या बोलते हैं? Here is the UK, and this is also the New Zealand, also called as the UK of Southern Hemisphere. कभी-कभी हम इसको बोल लेते हैं. Why? Because of type of climate, because of pleasant. And here what? The westerlies that will bring the rain. What happens? That westerlies, right? This westerlies which is coming from this end, westerly, that brings rain. That brings rain to this region, right? The westerly will bring rain to this region, and that is why this is important. That westerly. That westerly brings the rains to that region. Likewise, here also in New Zealand, that westerly brings rain, and this western, I would say the what? There would be leeward effect. There would be what? Also leeward effect. Canterbury grassland also there because of that leeward effect. Canterbury grassland. But the western margin of the this I would say what? The mountain region of the New Zealand, that will receive more precipitation because of the what? Elevation, because of westerly. So that is the region. Next we will comes to the boreal type of climate. We will comes to what? The boreal type of climate. This is also very important climate. We need to also understand the boreal type of climate. Right, the boreal type of climate. Now what is the boreal type of climate? See, the boreal type of climate, when I say boreal type of climate, so this is also called as also the taiga type of climate. Either you may say boreal type, is a boreal is what? Forest, is a taiga, or you may say the Siberia climate, or the cool, temperate, continental climate. This is also cool, temperate, continental climate, right? So this one also, as I said, right, mainly This would not have in the southern hemisphere because of limited land mass. As the southern hemisphere is having the limited land mass, that is why the southern hemisphere would not have. The northern hemisphere will experience. That would be experienced by whom? That is the northern hemisphere. The northern hemisphere will experience, not the southern hemisphere. As I mentioned, that this type of climate, this boreal type of climate, that is absent in the southern hemisphere. Why? Because of the land, lack of land is there. The northern land is being dominated where? The northern hemispheres. That is why. The reason is just below the sub-Arctic, there would be pole site like Arctic region, tundra region is there, boreal forest, that means I would say the Canada region is there, Russia is there, Norway is there, Canada, Russia, Norway, all these regions, Scandinavian countries also there, right? That is the 50 to 70 degree latitude region. The region which is coming under the 50 to 70 degree latitude region, latitudinal areas. So that region, right, that region, this is having this kind of climate is there. So that is also there, right? Next is here you can see that is the what tundra type of climate. When I say tundra type of climate, there would be what? No natural vegetation. There would be no natural vegetation. So natural vegetation would be there in form of lichen and mosses. Nothing will grow there because of what? Lack of temperature, lack of soil thickness. The wilt, I would say the soil profile has not grown that much, right? The soil thickness, I believe so. The soil thickness is not grown that much, right? The soil thickness has not grown that much. That is the what? Arctic circle of the southern. So this is there, the distribution. What? That is the distribution, right? So this is how the region, northern hemisphere Arctics and the southern hemisphere, as I said, the southern hemisphere will be little bits of there in the southern hemisphere. This would be it, southern hemisphere. Here you can see the Antarctica is there. In the northern hemisphere we will have all the Canada region, and this is the Scandinavian region and the Russian part of Siberia. So these are the region where the tundra type of climate happens. In this region you will have Eskimos, you will have polar bears, you will have seal, natural biodiversity also there. You will have what? Different type of, in the southern hemisphere you will have penguins, there would be lichen, there would be mosses, there would be igloos, that ice houses, igloos also there, right? But this is harsh condition, right? And winter also so harsh that throughout the year almost the temperature is sub-zero, right? Temperature is always, here you can see the winter temperature goes -40, -50 below that. The summer is relatively, so sometimes the temperature could be 2 degree, 5 degree, 10 degree, but below 10 degree. There could be Eskimos in the Alaska region, there would be igloos also there. The winter, during the winter they live in compact igloos. Their food is derived from the fish, seal, walrus, walrus also there, polar bear also there. So these are the also fishes, they are getting fishes all the way to live themselves. As I said, the natural vegetation is mosses and lichens, which emerges during the summer season. The summer would be below 10 degree temperature. Summer would be what? Below 10 degree, and summer is only 1.5 months. That would be the summer in this region, and the boreal region. Mild winter temperature as below. The winter is not in the mid winter, sorry, it's not mild, it's a severe wind would be there, severe winter condition will be there. The tree, there is no tree, as I said, there would be no tree. So this is all about the climatic zone we have discussed, right? So we have discussed all the climatic zones. So that is the classification from the starting from all the way from the Köppen climatic classifications, right? We have done all the way from the Köppen climatic classifications to the British type of climate, to the China type of climate, to the steppe type of climate, to the Natal type of climate, to the British type of climate, to the Laurentian type of climate, right? Equatorial type of climate or the tropical type of climate. There is also desert or the dry region, and that is, as I said, B type of climate according to the Köppen. All these things we have discussed, right? The dry type of climate. The dry will be divided into grassland, that is the BSH, BSHK, that could be there. So this is how the BWH, BW, what K could be the. So this is how the division we have done it, the division, right? So we have done the division. So this is all the way from my side, and With this, I will say good night.